Hello everyone. So today we'll be talking about model deployment using MLFlow. And once it is deployed, then we'll see how to consume that model within a Flask web application. So this is the fourth video in the series of MLFlow. So what topics mainly will be covering? Like we'll show you the steps or functions involved in model training, and also we'll show you the function which will do the experiment tracking, and then how to do the model registration with MLFlow. Okay. So basically, these 3 points I have already talked or discussed in detail in my previous 3 videos. Okay, so you can, if you want to have a in-depth understanding, then please go through those videos. In today's video, we'll only touch those points which are necessary or which are required to do the model deployment using MLFlow. Okay, and then once it is deployed, then we'll create a simple, very basic Flask web application and we'll try to consume that model within the Flask web application. Okay, and then we'll see how to do the batch prediction within Flask application. So this is the agenda for today's video. So let's start. So these are the steps basically, guys, to create the Conda environment. So if you are someone who is new to this Conda thing, then you can just pause the video and follow these steps to create the Conda environment. Okay. And once it is created, you can create that environment and you can create a IPython kernel inside that and then install that within the notebook. And then you can also install the notebook and then install these libraries basically. So these will be needed for this video. Okay. So to follow this tutorial. So one more thing here, I'm using MLFlow version 2.1.1. So that is the latest release when I'm creating this video. So if you are installing today, then if you are doing this, then by default, it will install the same version. But if you have some other version, then I'll just suggest to uninstall that one and install this one so that seamlessly you can follow this video content. Okay. And then for sklearn, I'm using 1.2.0. So now with that all dependencies available installed, let's start. So guys, these are the basic steps in model creation phase. So again, I'm not in detailing about how to build the model, how to train the model. So that's where I just created the basic steps for model training. Okay. So the basic classifier will be created. So my main focus will be how to deploy that model within MLFlow and then consume in Flask. So that's where I will spend much time. Okay. So the first function, like how to load data. So here I'll pass the data URL so that it can be read as a CSV and then load it. Okay, and return the data. And then we'll do the train test split and then basic classifier building here using logistic regression. Okay. And then we'll just have a function to predict on test data. And if you're also interested to predict the probabilities value, then you can use this function. And then get matrix function, we'll just print the matrix like accuracy, precision, recall, entropy, and all those things. Okay. So this is fine. Now, if you start calling these functions, then those functions will start executing one by one. So load data, it will just show the output like this. Okay, so let me also execute together with you so that you can also run along with me. Okay, so these are just function definitions. So anyway, these will not produce any output until you start calling them. So from here onwards, I'm calling. So now this will show you the output. Okay, so I'm doing one by one. Okay. So I just needed to switch off or turn off some notifications, otherwise they were disturbing. Anyway, I'm back. Okay. So I was just calling those functions. So now if you call the trend test split, so it will return you X train, X test, Y train, Y test. Okay. So all those things you know already. So let me execute them quickly. So guys, I will just suggest you execute simultaneously along with me. So that's how we can learn together. And yeah, so now by this time we have a trained model and that is stored locally. So that's fine. So now next thing, the important one, which will be needed for today's session. Okay. So like here, I'm just defining a function. What it will do, it will just create an experiment within MLFlow, and then it will register a model with the name of iris classifier. Okay. So here, basically what I'm doing in these all steps, basically. So let me quickly explain you, but I have anyway in detailed explanation in my first video in the series, so you can refer back to for in-depth understanding. But let me quickly go through. So MLFlow does set tracking URL. It will just set the tracking URL. This one. If your MLFlow is deployed in some server, then you need to refer that URL. Okay. And again, this is useful if you are using any backend database storage, for example, SQLite or MySQL or any other database. Okay. But if you are not using that one, simply you are using file storage, then you don't need to do this thing. Okay. And then set experiment and all those things. So here I'm just logging artifacts. Okay. For example, the configuration matrix, other parameters, etc. And then here in this step, I'm logging the model, registering the model. Okay. Iris classifier. And if Iris classifier already exists, then it will create a new version on top of that. Okay. So this is the same thing like which we have learned in previous videos. So this is fine. I will just execute it. So just I just kind of compile. Okay, it is the function definition. So now before calling this function, we need to start the ML server, MLFlow server. Okay, otherwise it will create a problem and it will not execute. So please make sure in the same sequence you are executing everything. If you change the sequence, it might give error to you. Okay. So now we need to execute this command. So don't execute this command. So this is not required because we are using like SQLite as a backend in my case. Okay. So execute this command. If you are using MySQL or any other backend, so you can just simply change this SQL string. Okay. Here. So this one I'm using SQLite. So if you are using MySQL, then you can use that as connection string. Along with that, you can pass the credential, like username and password. Okay. So just execute this URL from the. So one more thing, guys, make sure that you are inside the Conda environment, and from inside you are already within this folder where your file this exists. Okay, because from where you execute this command that and this where you are like logging this experiment, that should be same. Otherwise, it will create a problem. Okay, this command will still done, but you will not see any model registered within MLFlow because it is not referring the same folder where this SQLite will exist. Okay, well, this DB will exist. So make sure that thing. So now let me show you. Okay. So for example, the very first thing what I had done here. So when I open an Anaconda prompt, so I just went to this folder, and from inside that I just activated this MLOps demo environment. Okay. So I have already listed. You can just follow those steps to create a Conda environment and then activate this one. Okay. And then from inside, once I'm inside that one, I just mentioned Jupyter Notebook. So it has opened this folder basically, this one. Okay. So here I have kept all my notebooks. So from previous videos and everywhere. Okay. So now I'm using this one basically. Okay. In today's video. So now we are inside that folder. Now you need to run this command. So for that, you can open next Anaconda prompt, and from inside that one, again you activate MLOps demo environment, and then if you do this thing, so this is the normal mistake we do, guys. Okay, if you do this, as I said, it will still execute. But if you open localhost colon port this 5000, so what you will not see, you will not see all these model registered for you. Okay, it will show you blank here. Okay, but if you execute this command from inside that folder. So what I did, I aborted this using Control C. I went inside that folder where I have every file and this SQLite DB exists. So from there, if I'm running, then it will work as expected. And here you will see all your model registered. Okay. But if you are doing the very first time and if you have not registered any model, then you will not be able to see any differences. Okay, but once you registered any model and second time you're running it from some other folder, then you will not see your because it cannot refer the model. Because if you see here, so here, okay, just a minute, this MLFlow SQL database file. Okay, this will be created in one folder, and your artifacts will be created in some other folder. Okay, so then it will not be in sync. So that's where it will create a problem. So that's where makes you are in the same folder. Okay, now coming back. So I hope you have executed this command, and now once after executing this, your MLFlow server will be started. And now what you need to do basically, you can execute this line to create experiment. Okay. So once you are creating experiment, so you just need to pass certain parameter like experiment name, run matrix, model. Okay. And if you are like giving confusion matrix.png if you have created. Okay. So if you have not created, then you can just neglect that one. So we have not created, so I can just neglect simply. Okay, I'm not using this one. So I can just remove that one, and then once I so see Let me explain you first. Okay. So yesterday I just ran this create experiment function. Okay. And then here my iris classifier got registered, and let me show you before running it. Okay. So if I go into this, so iris classifier and version 2 got registered. Okay. But version 1 was still in production. Okay. We have not moved version 2 to the production. And now see, if I am running this again now, okay, so version 3 will get created. So let's see. So now it is running. And let's see what happens. Okay. So give me a minute. It will be done quickly. So, okay. So will happen. No worries. Yeah, so you see here, like it is telling created version 4. Okay, so I double click this. That's where like it created 3 and 4 again. Okay, so if I refresh this, then now you see here version 4. Okay, now for your understanding, let me execute this again, and it will create version 5, okay, so that there won't be any confusion. So takes around 30 seconds. Yeah. So now version 5 is created. Okay. So again and again you keep it running. So it will create new version. Okay. But automatically that won't go to production. Now you see here version 5 got created. Okay. Because we have not moved this version to production. We have moved only version 1. Okay. So now next step, what we will do, we will set like which version we want to move to the production. Okay. So now what happens, like suppose you have retrained the model to the new version. Okay, and you want to move that version to the production. Okay, so I'm giving suppose version 4, not version 5. Okay, I'm not happy with the version 5, but just previous one. So I'm happy with version 4. I'm moving that to the production. Okay, so let me do like this. So now version 4 went to the production. Now if I show you here, so before version 1 was in production, and now if I refresh it, so it will show you version 5 is in production. Okay, so that's how you can move a specific model to the production. So now version 4 is running in the production. Okay. So now how to create an API against that one. So MLFlow gives you the API all as well. Okay. So now for that, you need to set the tracking URL. So let me run this one. And sometimes we have abruptly like weirdly. So what you can also do if this doesn't work for you, then from command line also you can do this. So set MLFlow tracking URL is equal to this. And if you are using Linux, then you can do like this export. And if you open your environment variable, and then there in the system variable, you can see like MLFlow tracking URL should be visible like this. Okay, localhost. So this is how you can confirm this. And now once you have set the tracking URL, what next you can do? You can execute this command. So one more thing, guys, here. So what it will do basically, it will expose the API. So it will kind of deploy that production model. Okay, it will deploy that production model in which port, so that you need to define here. So I'm giving you random ports. You just need to make sure this port should be different from this port. So 5000 port we have already utilized. So you just need to make sure you are using the port which you have not utilized. So some other service is not running in that port. Okay. So I'm giving 1234. So what you can do, similarly, open a new Anaconda prompt and activate your that environment, Conda environment, and go to that folder where you are creating this notebook. And from inside that one, you execute this thing basically. So let me show. Okay, so like this, MLFlow model sir, and like this. Okay, you can execute this command, and then it will start serving. So now the moment you run this command, you will see here as output, it will tell you, okay, it is serving on this URL in this port, basically localhost and this port. Okay. So now the moment it started serving, so what you can do, you can utilize this URL to get the output. So from here, so you can do like if you have one record to predict, so you can pass those value like this, like list of list or arrays basically. And here, like you can pass. So I've created a JSON basically out of this data frame record. So that's like in a previous version of ML flows. So here, like this keyword was different, but in this MLFlow 2.1.1 latest version, they are using here data from records. Okay, so that's Flask change they start doing. They keep on doing. So that's where you need to be very sure which version you are using. Okay, guys. So now we are sending the post request here. So just define the endpoints and like JSON. So here I'm just writing like on which data you want to generate the inference. And then you just simply run this and it will give you the output. If everything is fine, you will get the output immediately as a success. Okay, and then you respond to text, it will predict the like for this record what kind of flower it is predicting. Okay, there are three flower categories in iris classifier. Okay, so let's give some seconds to this. It is running. So now you see it has produced the output like prediction, and it has categorized flower category as Iris virginica. Okay, so this is how it has predicted. And suppose you have some set of records. So what you can do, suppose like X test. Okay, so what we have above splitted the data in X2, X2, and X test. Okay, so in X test, what you can do, X test dot values and dot to list, and then you can pass as a list. And then same thing you can do. So here also, if you so let me show you like what XTest content basically. So this is how the content of XTest, and then what you can do. You can execute this after converting to that into list. So it will produce the output for each of these categories. Like so, it will predict something for this and for every record. Okay. So again, let's wait for some time and it will predict. Okay. So basically, meanwhile, it is like producing the output. So this is how you can deploy your model within the ML flow. Okay, ML flow, because ML flow also provide ML flow server. So that's where your model can keep running, and then you can consume somewhere else in some other application, third party application. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to consume this same model within the Flask Web application. Okay. So let's see. Yes, so now you see it has produced the output for those batch predictions kind of list. So here if you print response, then you will see the 200 response that is success. And if you print like the response.json and print the prediction, then you will see all the predicted classes for every record. Okay, so this is how like you can deploy your ML model in ML server. So now next thing we'll see like how to consume this model within a Flask web application. So for that, you should have a good understanding of like how to develop a Flask web application. And if not, then I have created a video on how to design a website using Flask. So I will give the link in my description field, so you can just refer. Okay. But for this application, whatever is needed, I will explain everything. Okay. So to create a Flask web application quickly, so what you need to do is just create a folder, MLFlow and Flask, any folder name you can give. And what inside that you need to create a static folder, you need to create templates folder, and you need to create a app.py or main.py, whatever .py file you want to create. Okay, so you just give that name. So these three are important, and remaining thing like these models will be created automatically, and Iris classifier. This is the same notebook which I have explained just now. So you can just delete. This is not required basically. We have already seen that one. Okay. So only this app.py is recorded. So now inside templates, all the HTML, whatever HTML files you will create, that you will keep inside that one. And inside a static folder, you will create all the CSS files. Okay. So that's the basic web programming. If you don't know how to do this, then you can refer that video. Okay. So I'm assuming you know how to create a Flask application. So now let's come inside app.py. So here you just import these libraries. So Flask, so you need to have a Flask installed in your system. Okay, and after that you can just create a Flask app using this line, and then you can create some basic routes. So like app.route, so this is the kind of decorator. So if you just with the URL /home, if you do, so it will land to this URL. If you are just like without any method name, without any function name, you are just default navigation. So default navigation will be this route. Okay, this is the default route, basically the index.html. Okay, and if you are calling the predict function, then it will navigate to this one. Okay, so let's go step by step. So basically, in this default method index.html, so let's see what I have done. So if you open index.html, so I've created a very basic application, nothing else. Okay. So here I need a JavaScript, the jQuery library. So that's where I've imported that one using script. And inside that, I've created a simple div, which is having like a label, like upload iris test data. And then on submit button, you can call get result. Okay, and then get result I have defined in the jQuery, like in the script section, like function get result. So I'm sending a JAX request. So here I'm calling the predict. Okay, so basically there are two methods I have created. So let me show you first this one. So basically a predict from model registry. So from here, it will just go to this method in the here in app.py. So this is the second method, predict from model registry. So what I'm doing here, so the moment you create this method, so what you can do, you can just import if you need any specific library, or you can import at the very top also. and uploaded file. So whatever file you, so let me just quickly run this and show you like how it is running, and from there you can start relating. Okay. So what you can do, Python app.py. So this is how you can run the Flask Web application. And then it is running in 5002 ports. So guys, one more thing, what you need to do basically. So in the inside main section, you can define a port, because for 5000 and 5001, these two ports you have already utilized. So you just, because in 5000 port, we are running our MLFlow server, right? So that makes sure you are using an empty port. So here I have given 5002. Otherwise, by default, it is also running in 5000 port, and then that is also already used, so it will get a conflict. Okay, so you just define a new rule, the new port basically. Now, if you open this port, sorry, this URL, then you can see like this default landing page. So live prediction. So okay, so forget about this employee attrition. I'm not doing employee attrition here. So I build another application for employee attrition. So you just forget about this label. So I'm just giving upload iris data. So what you can do here, from here you can select the X-test, the same file which we use to predict the batch prediction in a notebook, and then if you submit. So the moment you submit here, so that's where this function will get called. Uh, this one basically. Uh, Predict from model registries. That's why from index file, we are calling this method get result. Okay. And inside JavaScript, so let me change this also quickly. Basically, this is iris classifier. Okay. So this will get changed. So no issues. So now from this get result, it will refer this one, and from here it will call this route in the app.py, and here it is this route basically. It will come to this one, and from here, using submit, you are sending that file basically. So I'm just converting to that data frame, and from here I'm just printing for debugging purpose so that everything is coming fine. And I'm just converting to the list basically. So df.value.toList you can give, and then instance request you can do. And here, see, I am utilizing same URL, which is like MLFlow model deployment, right? So I have deployed the model in MLFlow. I have shown you how, and that MLFlow has exposed a URL because it is running on localhost with 1234 port. Okay, and I'm using same URL here. So that's how you are consuming here within a Flask application. Okay, and then I'm sending a post request and then printing the response. Okay. And then if you want to just give a proper data frame like look, so you can convert that like two data frames. So like I'm creating a result data frame and df.index, I'm assigning the index and then categories like the predicted classes, and then returning it. Okay. So let me show you by running it. So I'm browsing express.csv, and then if I'm submitting, then within a second, you will see the responses here. Okay. Yeah. Now, for each record, it has predicted certain categories. So this is a classification. Okay, multi-classification because there are three classes. Okay, but if you suppose, so this is how we have consumed the MLflow deployed model here. But what if we don't want to use the MLflow registry? We have kept, because in some projects you have not defined a model registry. You have kept your model somewhere locally. Okay, so for that, what you can do, you can simply keep your model locally, and then you can read that model from that directory. So here model.pickle I have kept inside data folder, and that also you can use. So rest everything will be same. I'm just reading the CSV file like this using submit, and then converting to data frame, and then reading like pickle model file, and then doing the prediction. Okay, same way. So classifier.predict, which will return the predicted classes basically. Okay, and if you want to, you are also interested to know the predicted probabilities, then you can do that thing. Okay? And then remaining same thing I'm doing, just converting to data frame and returning the record. Okay, so this is also I can show you basically. So here, if you go to index and you just comment this method and uncomment that one, then it will now navigate to this predict function. It will come here in this one. Okay, and let me run now. So output will be same basically. So let me refresh it. And again, I'm just browsing this file and then submitting. Response will be same, you see here. Okay, but this time it is reading model from the local path. So where I stay locally basically. Okay, so this is how you guys can consume the model within a Flask application. Again, if you are someone new to Flask, then you can refer that video like how to create a website using Flask. There I have explained every directory structure. Okay, but for this also, this code I will put in a GitHub repository, and from there you can copy and you can execute it. Okay, and if you face any problem, just let me know. Okay, but one more thing, if you just simply apply some CSS on top of that, then you can get a nice UI. Okay, So in the home, so now you see, I just mentioned home here. So now in this app.py, it will just land to this one. Okay. And it will just render this demo model.html. So here in this demo model.html, I have applied some nice CSS. So that's how you can see here. Okay. Again, this is not employee attrition. You can change this here. Okay. And then here you can browse this one, Xtest. And if you submit, so with nice look and feel, it will predict. Okay. So this is all about, guys, how to consume your MLFlow deployed model within a Flask application. Okay. So that's it, I guess. So if you have any doubt, then just mention in the comment and I will be happy to reply. Okay. And again, if you are new to a web application, then you can refer that video in my channel. I have given the link in the description section. Okay. So how to create a website using Flask. So if you have that understanding, then it will be very good. Okay. So that's all. Thank you very much for watching, and let me know your thoughts with the comment section. And if you like this video, and then you can support me by sharing this in the ML community within your colleagues, or if someone who is learning data science or new to this field. Okay. So that's all. Thank you very much.